What's my favorite MMO? Um, I usually go with Lord of the Rings Online. Just for a comfort level, it gives me everything I want. But also Star Wars: Old Republic. But it's also because I know those IPs like the back of my hand. So, yeah, they're dated, and I would love it if there were more modern editions. But at the same time, I don't really play those games enough to care anymore. And I also recognize that they're just an important part of evolution in terms of the gaming industry, my gaming history. So I don't mind dipping in from time to time and playing those older games for nostalgia's sake, but they haven't been modern games in a very long time. Doesn't change my enjoyment of them.
Leads us to victory.
Because it's kind of like, for a very long time, Baldur's Gate 2 for me was like my favorite CRPG of all time. Very long time. Baldur's Gate 3 was the first CRPG that managed to take off Baldur's Gate 2 and top it. And it's not because it has Baldur's Gate in the name. I didn't even know who Larian Studios was before Baldur's Gate 3 was announced. Um, and there had been a lot of games that had come close, like Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, that came really close to knocking Baldur's Gate 2 off. Um, I just have always, that's always been a great game to me because of a lot of emotions I have associated with Baldur's Gate 2 and just the fun I had playing that, learning Forgotten Realms. I was deep into the books at the time. I was deep into the Dragonlance books at the time. So when I played Baldur's Gate 2, there was a huge amount of emotional charge around that game that kept me locked on it for 15, 20 years or whatever it was. Um, but eventually I was like, you know what? There has been a better game. And Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is a better game in every way than Baldur's Gate 2. So when I look at MMOs, I have MMOs that I have very fond memories of, but I know that they will eventually be topped because it's just the nature of the technology that we have in today's world allows games to get better and better and better and better every single year. There is absolutely no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like all these people who claim that games suck today, it's all trash. Bullshit. The physics that these engines can do in 2025 compared to 1995, compared to 2005, compared to 2015 allows them to create bigger and better and bolder and cooler games every single year. Like, we didn't have voiceovers when I played Myst back in 1993 or whenever it was. Like, it's mind-boggling these days that we get those types of experiences, and it's just getting better. And VR, something VR will eventually come along and dominate for me personally. Rambling answer. Um, I love Lord of the Rings Online. It is extremely dated. The game looks 20 years old. It doesn't have a lot of voiceovers. Um, but what it does have is I can go to Middle Earth and everything I read about in the books, everything I've ever read about since I was 5 years old and first read The Hobbit, I can go look at, I can touch it, digitally speaking, of course, but I can immerse myself in Middle Earth, and it is a phenomenal representation. And being able to visit locations from The Hobbit and see like the 3 stone trolls that got turned to stone when Bilbo was on his way to Rivendell with the dwarves, and that moment, that scene from the books, and to be able to go to that location in the game world with my Hobbit character or any other character has always been extremely special to me. Being able to go to the Misty Mountains, the first time I found Gollum's cave down in the Goblin City, that was hugely emotional for me. Just like the coolest, like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like the fact that artists took time to make that happen and then put it in such a way that it's completely hidden unless you, as a Lord of the Rings nerd, go into the Goblin City and go looking for these types of things. Because the normal the gamers of the world are never going to find that shit. And it's not going to make it any less of a game. But the thing I love about Lord of the Rings Online is they have taken the time to put that sort of stuff in there because it's book specific. It's based on the books. They have a huge love of the books. So the game has always been my favorite MMO for that reason. But a close second for me is Star Wars: Old Republic. Because it's, again, I know that world. Star Wars. The first time I heard that a lightsaber it's chills up my spine, and it will continue to give me chills up my spine until I'm in the grave. Like smugglers and princesses and good versus evil and when I was however old I was, 3 years old, 4 years old, first time I ever saw those movies, and I remember being terrified of like the Rancor, and also being terrified of the Wampa. I had nightmares about the Wampa when I was very young, and still love those movies, every minute of them. And so when I was able to finally, Star Wars Galaxies was good, but it didn't hold the same place for me as Star Wars: Old Republic. Old Republic is fully voiced, 100% cinematic. It is an absolute. It's like sitting down to watch an episode of the Clone Wars every single time you sit down and play Star Wars: Old Republic, because you're literally stepping into a fully cinematic, fully voiced, cartoonish art style. Yes, but like if you like the Clone Wars TV show, it's that level of quality, and you can jump in and have these amazing adventures on, how many planets are in the game now? 50 planets? I don't know. There's a lot of planets. You can go to a lot of places. And if you know the Star Wars lore, and if you love Star Wars, holy shit, that is a game, man. It's good. Anyway, that's the rambling answer. And you have another question, which I just saw pop up. Well, somebody else did. I don't know if it's the same person. The next, hang on, let me timestamp this because I'll get sidetracked. That was 20, 40, and favorite MMO. And then the next question is tab combat. Do I miss tab combat in MMOs, or are you for action? Oh, fuck tab targeting. I do not miss tab targeting at all. That's one of the reasons I don't enjoy playing Lord of the Rings Online that much anymore, because I've done it for so many years, but that's one of the areas where the game has not modernized at all. I don't like tab targeting. If tab targeting to me is like turn-based combat, and it's okay if you like it. I don't mind it from time to time, but I don't enjoy it enough to want to be that, go play those things for hundreds of hours anymore.